Hello students, welcome to the lecture series of confidence interval. Till now we have studied about the concept of confidence interval. We have also used how to calculate confidence interval of mean of population. Okay, we have seen examples of confidence interval where we have used either t statistic or z statistic to calculate the confidence interval of population mean. In this session, we will look into the confidence interval for difference of means. Okay. Now, what does it mean? It means that we have to calculate confidence interval for mu1 minus mu2. Okay, where mu1 is the population mean of first population 1, and mu2 is the population mean of second population. So we have to calculate the either 95% or 99% confidence interval for mu1 minus mu2. Okay, now a lot of students have asked me that why is it worth reading? I mean, why are we concerned with the confidence interval for difference of means? Often in data science and practical real life applications, we come across a situation where we are required to compare the two population mean. Okay, I mean, we are required to compare whether the introduction of any step in the industry could lead to the efficiency in the quality of product or not. So in such type of situations, we use the confidence interval for difference of population mean. So here I have shown you two cases where we use confidence interval for difference of population mean. Suppose if there are two internet companies, one of the company is serving any population 1 and other company is serving population 2. Now we are required to estimate the service level, or we are required to compare the satisfaction levels of the customer from these two internet companies. So what we will do, we will try to collect a sample from population 1. I should probably name it sample 1, and we would also collect a sample from population 2, and then we would survey the satisfaction level, and on the basis of the satisfaction level we would estimate the range of difference in satisfaction level from these two company. Okay, so this could be one of the application of confidence interval. Similarly, when we try to conduct any experiment, then we should check whether the experiment has resulted in any efficiency or any desired outcome. Suppose there are two sets of population, one is on low fat diet and other population is on normal diet. Let us give the average weight of the population which is on low fat diet as mu1 and average weight of population which is on normal diet is mu2. So what we do, by calculating mu1 minus mu2, we get to know whether our experiment that is putting the people on low fat diet could result in a desired outcome, that is weight loss of the given population. Okay, so now this is the course outline. By the end of this course, you will be able to understand confidence interval for difference of mean of two population. Okay, that is mu1 minus mu2. And at the end of this lecture, we would also try to solve an example so that you can develop a problem solving skills for confidence interval. Okay, here I have written the confidence interval for the two cases where we know the population variance or where we do not know the population variance. Okay, so this in the left part, as you can see that we have collected sample having size n1, mean x1 bar and standard deviation s1 from the population 1 which is having mean mu1 and sigma 1, that is standard deviation. Okay, similarly we have collected second sample from the second population. Okay, here the assumption is that the samples are independent. Okay, that is the outcome of one sample does not affect the probability of selecting the second sample. Okay, so what we will try to do, we would try to derive the result of this confidence interval. That consider this as sampling distribution sampling distribution of sample mean of population 1. Okay, and corresponding graph for population 2 is this graph. Okay, so we know that mean of sampling distribution curve is mu, and the variance of sampling distribution curve is sigma square divided by n. Okay, so mean is mu1, let us denote by mu1, and variance is sigma 1 square divided by n1. Okay, similarly mean of second sampling distribution is mu2 and variance is sigma 2 square over n2. Okay, so x1 bar is normally distributed mu1 sigma 1 square divided by n1, and x2 bar is also normally distributed with mean as mu2 and variance as sigma 2 square divided by n2. Okay, and we have seen from the properties of normal distribution that if x1 bar is normally distributed, x2 bar is normally distributed, then x1 bar minus x2 bar would also be a normal distribution. Okay, with some mu. Okay, some mu, let's say it mu as mu, and variance let's say sigma square. Okay, so what is this mu and what is this variance? This mu would be the difference of mean of two population, that is mu1 minus mu2. Okay, and if the samples are independent, then sigma square would be sigma 1 square over n1 plus sigma 2 square over n2. Okay, so now we get the sampling distribution curve of x1 bar minus x2 bar. Okay, so x1 bar minus x2 bar would be distributed as just putting the values mu1 minus mu2 with variance of sigma 1 square divided by n1 plus sigma 2 square divided by n2. So if we calculate the z statistic for difference of population mean, it would come out to be x1 bar minus x2 bar minus mu1 minus mu2 divided by under root of sigma 1 square divided by n1 plus sigma 2 square divided by n2. This is the z statistic. Okay, it would be distributed as standard normal distribution. Okay, so from here we can calculate the range of mu1 minus mu2 for different population interval. Okay, so now I have written down in case of known population variance, this would be the range of difference of population mean, and in case of unknown population variance, we use the t statistic, as we have seen when we have tried to calculate confidence interval for mean in which the population variance is not known. So here the same concept applies. Here also we use the t distribution given if the two population have equal variance. Here I would like to explain you what is the meaning of SP. Okay, SP is the pooled estimator of standard deviation. Okay, where S1 is standard deviation of sample 1, S2 is standard deviation of sample 2. So if you put the values into this equation, we can easily find SP. So now let us try to solve a numerical so that we can apply the concepts we have learned. A motor company runs tests to investigate the fuel consumption of cars using a newly developed fuel additive. 16 cars of the same make and age are used, 8 with new additive and 8 as controls. The results in miles per gallon over test track are given. This is for control, this is for additive. Calculate a 95% confidence interval for the increase in miles per gallon achieved by cars with additive. First, let us write down the given data of the question. We have collected a total of 16 samples, that is n1 is 8, n2 is also 8. Okay, and we know what is x1 bar. X1 bar is summation of xi, where I is equal to 1 to n divided by 8, so it would come out to be 30. 0.75. Okay. Similarly, x2 bar can be calculated, which is 28.3. Now we are assuming that the sample comes from normal distribution with the same variance. Okay. So since we are not provided the population variance, so we are going to use the t statistic. Okay, as we have seen in the previous slide, if we have been provided population variance, we would have been used z statistic, but since the population variance is not provided, we are going to use the t statistic. Okay, so x1 bar minus x2 bar minus mu1 minus mu2 divided by SP 1 upon n1 plus 1 upon n2 would be distributed as t curve with a degree of freedom of n1 plus n2 minus 2. Okay, and we know that sp square is equal to n1 minus 1 s1 square plus n2 minus 1 s2 square divided by n1 plus n2 minus 2. Okay, now let us try to estimate what is the standard deviation for first sample and standard deviation of second sample. Here x1 bar is for additive. Okay, so I am replacing it by xa bar, and x2 bar is for control. Okay, so I am replacing it by xc bar. So I am rewriting the above equation in terms of parameters of control and additive. Okay, so xa bar minus xc bar minus mu a minus mu c divided by sp under root of 1 upon na plus 1 upon nc. Okay, so now we have to calculate the value of this equation, and I am replacing s1 s2 also. S1 is equal to SA, that is standard deviation of additive, and S2 is equal to SC, that is standard deviation of control. Okay, so now let us calculate the standard deviation of additive sample. So SA would be 1 divided by n minus 1 summation of x square minus summation of x whole square divided by n. Okay, so if you calculate this would come out to this is SA square. If you calculate this would come out to be 48.06 divided by 7. Okay, similarly if you calculate SC square, it would come out to be 35.38 divided by 7. Okay, so now once we know the value of SA and SC, we can calculate the pooled estimator by putting the value of SA and SC into this equation. So SP square would be 8 minus 1 times 48. This would come out to be 5.96. Okay, so now our pivotal quantity becomes, this is our pivotal quantity. Okay, so just putting the values in the given equation, xa bar minus xc bar, it is distributed as t 8 plus 8 minus 2. Okay, so now let us see the t distribution table. This here is given the t distribution table. See, what do we require in a t distribution table? since we are required to find the 95% confidence level and the confidence interval must be symmetrical, so this area, that is the area under right hand tail, must be 2.5% and the area under the left hand tail must also be equal to 2.5%. okay, so we have to find such value of t such that the area beyond this value must be equal to 2.5% of the total area. So we need the upper 2.5% and the lower 2.5% of T14. Okay, so now we should look at this row. Okay, and here we can see that one tail for 0.025, T14 is 2.145. okay, so this is 2.145, and since the t distribution is symmetrical in nature, this can said to be minus 2.145. okay, we can also calculate this from here for the 95% confidence interval against T14 distribution. We get the value of 2.145. so substituting the value of T14 in this equation, we get, okay, so now if you solve this equation, it would come out to be mu a minus mu c less than 5.068 greater than minus 0.168. okay, so this is our confidence interval for the difference in population mean. okay, so in our next class we would see confidence interval for population variance, which is derived by chi-square distribution. okay, chi-square distribution, this we are going to see in the next class. Till then, keep enjoying and keep watching YJ Data Science. Thank you.